When you think of classic horror movie villains, what comes to mind? The monster like Frankenstein, an alien like the Xenomorph, or a slasher like Michael Myers. Or, hear me out, tomatoes. Yes, those things you pull off of your sandwich were once the antagonist in a full horror film. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was released to theaters in the fall of 1978 with an estimated budget of $100,000, and it well surpassed its own budget, making $567,000 at the box office. And guess what? I sat down and watched this masterpiece so I could review it for the entertainment of the 6 people who watch this. All right, I think that's enough intro for now. Let's get into the movie.
You're listening to the Mellow Star, KCUF, the Kingdom, 69 on your radio dial.
Well, I turn on the movie and I am immediately greeted with, oh no. Ethan, do not make the joke you want to make. Oh, and the tomato is moving and it kills the girl, which transitions us into the best cinematic intro of all time.
Attack of the killer tomatoes! Attack of the killer tomatoes! They'll beat you, mash you, squish you, mash you, chew you up for brunch, and finish you off for dinner or lunch.
I have to say, the tomato squishing does make me very uncomfortable.
Blood.
Drop in the costs of fruits and vegetables, due in a large part to a major surplus of tomatoes. In spite of concerted efforts
Tomato
to
juice.
stabilize the situation, the tomato
Bro, why is this guy's immediate thought is to taste the blood or whatever? What's wrong with this guy? Get Patrick Bateman over here. What's going on?
with this strange phenomenon.
Sure doesn't taste like tomato juice.
So that's how they came up with the idea for A Marriage Story.
Tomato, Martha.
I didn't know they grow them so big, Jeff.
I wonder where he's going. He got little Timmy.
Poor Timmy.
Ate him all up.
So they took out a friggin' helicopter. It's more chaotic than an Eric Andre interview. Like,
Is the press secretary? What's he doing here?
The president's got him keeping an eye on the investigation.
Why him?
Because he's got a vegetable garden, that's why, with peas and carrots and squash and tomato.
so all of a sudden you can work on a special ops mission because he plants a garden? Just because my pap puts taters in the ground every spring doesn't mean he's Russell Adler.
I'd like to apologize for the size of this room, gentlemen. It's all I can do on such short notice.
Good work.
Of the enemy.
They're 2 for 2.
This is man versus vegetable.
Technically, sir, tomatoes are fags.
He means fruits.
They're undefeated. This is just great. They're undefeated.
Such standards. Hey, Chuck. Your men, Dixon.
Sam Smith, disguise expert. Greta Attenbaum, swimming expert. Greta defected to us after the last Olympics.
We feel she's going to be quite an addition to the department.
Greg Colburn, underwater expert. The 4th member...
It's like the Great Value version of the Bounty Hunter lineup in The Empire Strikes Back. I want you all to find the whereabouts of all these tomatoes. And you, no evaporations. As you wish. It's a Jaws parody. How did I not see it coming?
Wouldn't exactly call it a menace, young man. There have been some isolated reports of alleged incidents involving some unusual activity associated with this particular...
Still better than any motocross on TV. Bro, what? When I first watched this, I laughed out loud. Alright, so they have Adolf, or the disguise expert, dressed as a tomato so he can infiltrate the tomatoes. Kind of like Solid Snake under a box.
Since the little housewife out there that the tomato which ate the family pet is not dangerous.
It's gonna be okay. I got you. It's gonna be okay. We're okay. There's no tomatoes here.
Some sell, some buy, and only we know why. The wrapper's more important than the prize.
When did this turn into The Sound of Music? Now, I really wish this scene would say so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, and good night. For a little story catch-up real quick, the reporting lady, who I've forgotten to mention, has chased down Mason Dixon, yes, that's the character's name, to a hotel where she's trying to get information on the tomato crisis. This is the best character in the movie, and there's no debate. So, they managed to capture one of these tomatoes, and they figure out their... Oh god, it can't be. Cherry tomatoes! Whoa! Okay. Okay. Cherry tomatoes. Oh well. Oh, and the best scene of the movie. Hey! Just because Barry Bonds did it doesn't mean you can. So, Dixon runs into two big boys and is pinned in the alley where Batman lost his parents but manages to get out. Welcome aboard, Stormtrooper. No. No. No!
Somebody's shooting at you. Where do you think?
Man really decided to take Walter White's mask. So the president, for some reason, has decided to nuke New York City, even though the tomatoes aren't even close to NYC. Wait, does this mean that it is in the Mets year? When is it ever? There's another song, but I'm not even gonna bother. So at this point, it's become all-out Omaha Beach out there, with tomatoes attacking left and right, and the army having to intervene. Dixon then catches up with the assassin, where he gets into a car chase with him, and they ultimately both run out of gas. The assassin gets Dixon at gunpoint, and turns out he was hired by the press secretary? No! Oh, and Dixon still has the gun.
Fatality!
Richardson rounds up the remaining civilians and takes them to a baseball field where the tomatoes are lurking. Dixon plays the terrible song from the beginning of the movie, and the tomatoes shrink and proceed to be squished. Some Cardi B also would have worked. All that wasted produce. Oh, and the reporter lady's pinned, if you care. So, Dixon shows the big tomato some child support payments, and he dies. Dixon starts singing to the reporter in an offsetting opera voice, and they run into the sunset together, probably in love, where a carrot pops out of the ground to set up a sequel I won't be reviewing. Well, that was something. All in all, it's a silly, goofy, fun movie to watch. I'd recommend it, but not heavily. It's hard to follow at some points, but it was an enjoyable watch. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time. That was my only good pencil. Adios.